Nobody, and truly nobody, expected Joe Rogan to walk straight into the wildfire surrounding Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk's widow. But he did. And he didn't walk in with jokes, soft questions, or that laid-back podcast energy he's known for. Joe entered the room like a man who had reached his limit with whispers, back-channel manipulation, political tension, and secrets simmering under the surface. The moment the studio door shut, Candace realized this wasn't a friendly conversation. Joe didn't warm up. He didn't ease into small talk or crack a smile. He leaned forward, eyes locked, voice flat, and asked the one question that froze the internet. Candace blinked, shifted slightly, her jaw tightening just enough for the cameras to catch it. This wasn't a topic she could bulldoze with a rant. She couldn't spin it with confidence or drown it with humor. This was Joe Rogan confronting her with the question millions were already whispering. And why were insiders acting like something far darker was unfolding behind closed doors? Joe pressed harder. He brought up the leaked messages, the internal rifts, the quiet panic within the movement, the whispers that Candace had revealed something she was never supposed to. Candace stared at him, eyes sharp, every word calculated, and finally spoke with an intensity that seemed to thicken the air in the studio. But to understand why Joe confronted Candace with that level of seriousness, why his tone shifted so sharply, and why the conversation felt more like an interrogation than a podcast, you have to rewind. Not weeks, not months. You have to go all the way back to the beginning of a feud that insiders swear had been boiling long before the public ever noticed. It began with a fracture, silent, subtle but powerful, inside the conservative movement. A fracture leadership tried to bury. A fracture Charlie himself sensed long before his passing. It started with two women who couldn't be more opposite: Charlie's widow, elegant, calm, strategic, a behind-the-scenes operator who avoids public conflict. While Candace dominated the public arena with unapologetic commentary, Charlie's widow pulled influence quietly, through private meetings, donor dinners, and strategic relationships. Insiders noticed early shifts. Whenever Candace walked into a room, people adjusted themselves. But when Charlie's widow entered, conversations changed. Decisions softened. Authority shifted. For someone with no formal position, one staffer said, she sure acted like she ran half the organization. Candace noticed but stayed quiet at first. She watched, observed, calculated. She saw people treating Charlie's widow like a symbolic replacement for Charlie, despite her lack of experience or appointment. And Candace hated it, not out of personal dislike, but because she saw something others didn't: calling people, making decisions, redirecting leadership, meeting with individuals Charlie himself had been wary of, messages showing that Charlie's widow had been quietly positioning herself, attempting to rebrand the movement, push out certain voices, elevate herself, and orchestrate the sidelining of Candace Owens. Charlie's widow had access to information she should never have had. Internal notes, donor plans, confidential strategies, leadership conversations, and no one knew who was feeding her the intel. It was the beginning of a silent civil war. Candace Owens versus Charlie's widow. Transparency against hidden influence. A public voice versus a quiet operator. And Joe Rogan? He saw it coming long before the world did. Friends spoke off the record. Guests dropped hints about internal conflicts. He noticed how Candace alluded to snakes lurking behind the scenes, how Charlie's widow suddenly appeared at events she had never attended before. Whispers from trusted political insiders reached him, warnings about tensions no one else wanted to acknowledge. When the recent explosion hit, the leaked messages, the staff complaints, Candace finally speaking out, Joe knew this wasn't ordinary drama. It was a high-stakes power struggle, stretching from podcasts to boardrooms to political war rooms. Candace was at the heart of it. So when she sat across from him, calm, poised, ready, Joe leaned forward, his eyes locked, and confronted her directly. It wasn't a question. It was a challenge. Candace didn't dodge. She didn't flinch. She didn't pivot. She met him eye to eye and said the words that made every listener lean closer. Say's been influencing decisions she had no right to touch. Someone finally needed to say it. Joe Rogan didn't blink. He didn't laugh. He didn't interrupt. He just measured the weight of her words, absorbing them fully. Then he leaned back, arms folded, and asked the question everyone had been waiting for. Candace inhaled sharply, Not in fear, but because she knew this was the point of no return. Everything she said next would ignite a fire that couldn't be walked back. She looked him in the eye. Decisions that affected the entire movement. Decisions Charlie would never have approved. Decisions made behind closed doors by someone trying to build power off his death. Asterisk. The room tightened. Joe's eyebrows dropped into that signature "we're going there" look. Slowly he adjusted the mic. Candace didn't answer immediately. She replayed months of manipulation in her mind before whispering. The internet collectively held its breath. In Candace's world, receipts meant evidence, messages, emails, audio, insider confirmations. Joe leaned forward, fully locked in. Candace reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. Without hesitation, she turned the screen toward him. For 8 seconds Joe stared. Eyebrows raised, lips parted, completely silent. Finally he muttered. And then the digital fallout began. Before the episode aired, screenshots of emails hit Twitter like a bombshell. One email allegedly from Charlie's widow to a senior staff member read, asterisk, "I think we both know Charlie wouldn't want Candace speaking on behalf of the movement anymore. Her tone is damaging. We need to pivot." Asterisk. The timestamp was chilling. 3 weeks after Charlie's passing, while the world assumed she was grieving, she was allegedly maneuvering for power. Candace nodded slowly. She's been making decisions in Charlie's name without Charlie. She's telling people he left her instructions. He didn't. Then came a 26-second audio clip from a private meeting. Charlie's widow's voice was calm, measured, confident. "Charlie told me everything he wanted for the movement before he passed. I'm the only one who knows his full vision." The room gasped. According to insiders, Charlie never had that conversation, not like that, not with those words. Candace replied to the leak with one sentence. That was the lie that started everything. The chaos intensified. Supporters rallied behind Candace, defenders of the widow panicked. Insiders contradicted each other. The very next day, Charlie's widow deleted every photo of Candace from Instagram. Years of shared history gone in minutes. Candace, in contrast, posted calmly. And then the next explosion came, not from Candace, not from Joe, not from social media detectives, but from a former assistant who had worked directly with Charlie. They contacted Joe's team with chilling words. "Candace is right. Charlie never left her instructions. He didn't trust her like that. But there's something worse." The assistant arrived at the studio carrying a physical folder, handwritten notes from a meeting with Charlie shortly before his passing. Joe's shock mirrored the moment he saw Candace's messages. "Keep leadership decisions separate from family. Do not mix personal life with the movement. Protect the organization from emotional influence." Asterisk. It was confirmation of everything Candace had been saying. His widow had used his name, twiped his memory, and positioned herself at the center of the movement he built. And then came the assistant's final revelation. There were signs she had planned this before Charlie even passed. Candace went pale. Joe's gaze sharpened. Before Charlie ever passed, his widow had already started holding quiet meetings with people Charlie openly distrusted. Individuals he warned his staff to stay away from. She insisted the meetings were personal, but staff members witnessed discussions about donor lists, talking points, and strategy shifts. These were decisions that never should have been made without Charlie present. Because just as the assistant's account began trending, Charlie's widow finally broke her silence and made the worst mistake of her career. She went live and lied. She claimed she had messages from Charlie confirming everything she'd said, but never showed them. She insisted she was carrying out Charlie's exact vision and accused Candace of twisting narratives for division. The internet spun into chaos. People immediately noticed contradictions in her timeline. She referenced conversations Charlie physically couldn't have had. She claimed he handed her a folder of plans, despite the fact that he wasn't writing at that time. He wasn't healthy enough to have long conversations in his final days. What she's describing never happened. A voice memo leaked. Not from Candace, not from the assistant, but from Charlie himself. A short 14-second recording. His voice was weak but unmistakable. "Please make sure Candace handles communications. She's the only one who won't let emotions take over." Candace had been telling the truth from the start. Charlie trusted her. Not his widow, to protect the movement from emotional manipulation. But the assistant wasn't done. They revealed there was another reason Charlie didn't want his widow involved. A reason no one had ever spoken publicly. A reason that made Joe Rogan lean back like he'd just been punched. "He told us she was meeting with someone he didn't trust," the assistant said quietly. "Someone with influence. Someone who wanted to redirect the movement." The internet begged for the name, but the assistant refused to speak it on air. Instead, they ended with one chilling sentence. "If the public finds out who she's aligned with, everything changes." Those words set the political internet on fire. Nobody knew the name, nobody had confirmation, but everyone could feel the shift. Something bigger than Candace, bigger than the widow, bigger than the feud was now looming over the story. Political commentators who usually avoided drama suddenly sounded like investigative reporters. One wrote, "If what Joe's guest hinted is true, this could be the biggest internal scandal in years. The fact that she won't name the person tells you everything. This goes high." It was the movement versus a hidden puppet master. Someone advising her, positioning her, using her as a conduit for power behind the scenes. The public smelled a shadow figure. And when people sense unseen influence, they lose their minds. TikTok exploded with breakdown videos analyzing her every appearance. Clips surfaced of her at donor dinners, glancing over her shoulder repeatedly. Caption: "Inside conservative media, things turned ugly fast." Producers were told to scrub old episodes featuring the widow. Writers were ordered to monitor mentions but avoid commentary. One producer leaked, "Management told us to hold all segments until we know how deep this goes." A former ally, one who publicly defended the widow for months, suddenly unfollowed her, deleted all posts with her, and tweeted. The internet screamed. People examined everything he deleted, everything he liked, including posts supporting Candace. He had switched sides without saying a word. Point one said, "If the person she's aligned with is who I think it is, we have a serious problem." Side B * widow defenders. Fewer, quieter, struggling to explain the growing pile of evidence. "We have confirmed details about Charlie's widow. Report coming soon." Then Charlie's widow made her biggest mistake yet. She tried to post a defense. "People spreading lies about me have no idea what Charlie entrusted to me. If the person behind her is who we think, we're all in danger. The person she's aligned with has been pulling strings for a long time." This wasn't grief. This was planned. Candace didn't hide it. She posted the blurred screenshot immediately. No fear, no hesitation. Her caption sliced straight through the silence. The internet erupted. Threats from who? The same shadowy figure behind Charlie's widow? The same person the assistant refused to name on Joe Rogan's show? The same individual donors and journalists were terrified of? The story didn't twist on social media this time. It twisted when Joe Rogan dropped a cut segment, footage producers had removed for being too sensitive. He uploaded it raw, no warning, no explanation. Candace froze, not shocked, not angry, but like someone who had been waiting for someone else to finally say it out loud. She whispered. The clip ended. The internet lost its mind. Candace didn't say allegedly. She didn't hedge. She stated it like a fact. "We've known for months she was meeting someone here. Someone powerful, strategic, and with motives. If the name goes public, it'll dominate headlines for weeks." That one statement detonated everything. People began connecting dots. The secret number, the private meetings Charlie never approved, the sudden rise in her influence after his death, the fabricated final instructions. The assistant's warning that this was all planned. "We warned leadership last year about a political operative trying to funnel influence through personal relationships." The internet paused. Was Charlie's widow one of those relationships? Was she being used as a conduit? Then came the leak that froze the political world. A blurred photo of Charlie's widow at a private dinner. Not with staff, not with donors, not with friends, but with a D.C. strategist known for pulling strings quietly from the shadows. Even blurred, the outline was unmistakable. People recognized the posture, the suit, the profile. Comments exploded. Charlie's widow panicked. She posted a shaky, emotional video denying everything. But she slipped. She said. She deleted the video, but screenshots were everywhere. Candace reposted it with one devastating line. Then Joe Rogan delivered another shock. He went live for 60 seconds. No guests, no jokes, just him. There's something we couldn't air. Something the assistant said off camera. Changes everything. And I don't know if we're even allowed to release it. People begged for answers. What did the assistant reveal? Who is this strategist? Why threaten Candace? Why hide the connection? What just happened wasn't a finale. It wasn't closure. It was a warning. Someone powerful, someone with reach, with money, with DC influence, has been using Charlie's widow as a mouthpiece. Someone who is scared of Candace, scared of what Joe heard, scared of what the assistant said off camera, and scared of their name going public. Now the world waits for one thing: the reveal, the bombshell, the puppet master. Who is Charlie's widow working for? And why were they willing to threaten Candace to stay hidden?